Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the ASEAN Young Architect Webinar Series 2021 with the theme of the future of sustainability. So we are extremely grateful for the participation of the outstanding speakers, both today and other five, which is our upcoming. And so I would like to thanks to them also for sharing their time and insight here in our webinar, and especially for our first speaker today, Architect Zannat Jui from Shatoto, Bangladesh. And I'd like to let you know a little bit about her shortly. And also thank you to Chairman of ACYA, Architect Ridha Razak, and all the ACYA members who is joining here today. And of course, without the participants here from the various countries, the webinar will not be fun and exciting. So before we start the webinar, I would like to gently remind you that today's session is being recorded to be available for viewing post-webinar. And if you have any question later for the speaker, use the chat box in this Zoom webinar. You can also type at any points during the session. However, we will hold most of the question until the end of the sessions. Then I will read the questions for the presenters to answer. Or if you want to speak out your burning questions directly to the presenter, please let me know on the chat box as well. And also please keep yourself muted during the webinar, except when the moderator gives you the permission to speak. Also, this event is supported by Arcasia Committee of Young Architects, and then Institute of Architects Indonesia, Special Region of Yogyakarta, Ikatan Architects Indonesia Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, also the Young Architect Forum, Yogyakarta Young Architect Forum, and also powered by Extalia Hobbies. Okay, well, now I would like to invite Chairman of ACYA, Architect Ridha Razak, to give a short opening speech. Ridha, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Desta.
Okay.
Hi.
Ridha.
All right. Okay, hi. Hi. Everything is good, Desta, there?
Yes, nice.
Nice, yeah? So I may begin, yeah?
Okay.
So, hi, greetings from Arcasia and ACYA. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate to Extalia in the organizing, and also the collaboration with IAI, especially the Young Jogja Architects and ACYA, ACYA, for this wonderful event. It is truly needed at this time of pandemic to look for new visions and answers for our future towards a greater future. I, for once, believe sustainability and technology transformation to the next level is the key to the revitalization of the built environment and its professionals. So on behalf of ACYA, I would like to urge all young architects to bounce back from all the challenges we are facing now in our country, and then we try our best to move forward to create new future. Do not only stay in the cocoon of our green buildings, but also engage with social in the reality of sustainable development movement in the world and your country. Be proactive in the realm of social environment and economical innovative, and making the most important work together transdisciplinary in collaboration to make your design creation matters to the community. With that, I hereby launch today together with Desta, Extalia, the Young Architects Webinar on Sustainability 2021. Thank you very much, Desta.
Thank you, Ridha. So amazing speech. Okay, I think because we have a very limited time, so let's just start the webinar. So just a bit introduction about me. I'm Primavera Desta from Indonesia. I'll be moderating this webinar today. And just a bit information that I am a registered architect from Institute of Architects Indonesia, and also an entrepreneur. Following through the sustainability movement isn't always easy, but there is no time to waste in tackling the climate change, sea level rise, and other sustainability issues, of course. And one of the biggest barriers of achieving more environmentally sustainable city and building is when the top-down regulations are supported by bottom-up movement and initiatives, of course, right? Then what happened in these images isn't something coincidentally. Wildfire, the droughts, the extreme weather are just a little parts of the impact of the global warming and the climate change. And here, as we can see in the graphic from the Climate Central, that the world's temperature had actually gradually increase. And what happens if this keeps increasing by 2 degrees Celsius? The data from the World Resource Institute in the right side is actually showing that the half of a degree increasing it will make a big difference. By 1.5 degrees Celsius, we will lose like around 4% of vertebrates, 8% of the plants, and 6% of the insect species. This number even will be like 2 or 3 times worse when the temperature is getting increased by only 0.5 degrees. So actually, can you still imagine what will happen in the 2100? Will human can still live on Earth? So according to the World Green Building Council, actually building and construction are responsible for around 40% of the world carbon emission, and it will always be related to the architecture. When it comes to the barrier and inconveniences, architects, designers, and all the project stakeholders have responsibility to integrate. Who is inconvenient always be the issues. And here, as you can see, United Nations already had set the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And some points are, of course, related to our architectural field. So the question is like, as the young millennial architects now, have we really think about, getting involved ourselves in this movement, or even have we realized about this fundamental issue? So our speaker today, very amazing, Zannat Jui from Bangladesh. She's a Bangladeshi architect, a system thinker, and a sustainability strategist, practicing as the head of design and internationally renowned firm Toto Architecture of Green Living for last 8 years. She has done a master from National University of Singapore on sustainable design. Besides her professional interest, she is also engaged in the photography and received international awards on photography in professional category in 2019. She has also won a Young Achiever Award 2020 from India for her contributions as a young professional in the field of architecture. Her work focused in sustainable architecture and landscape design. As a traveler, she also moves to learn from architecture, merging it with her passion and profession while visiting more than 25 countries. She did video shooting for different architectures in parallel of learning through it. She was also the juror of photography course in Mogadishu University and also acted as a juror of different universities for architectural competitions. And she's been the coordinator of Rafiq Azam Travel Bursary since 2016. And Zannat is also recognized as a young emerging professional in Bangladeshi sustainable architecture and attracted media for her work. It's so amazing. So welcome, Zannat. Thank you for being here. Zannat, you can try to unmute yourself, and then maybe now the time is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Desta.
I will stop sharing.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. Desta, am I full screen now?
Yes, you're full screen.
Okay, great. All right. So thank you so much, Desta, and Ridha Razak, the chairman of ACYA, for giving me the opportunity. And yeah, it's very exciting, talking in front of many people as a young professionals, and it's indeed a great opportunity for me. So today I'll be talking about the future of sustainability, but for that, as I'm working mostly in Dhaka base, so I want to share with you some brief history of Dhaka. So Dhaka is a mega city, the capital of Bangladesh. This is a 400-year-old city as capital. It's boosted with beautiful Nawab places, Mughal mosques, ancient temples, and many more architectural evidences in the early stage. So Bangladesh is a country of 3,500 years history of center of excellence and enlightenment. Northern part of the country has so many Buddhist monasteries like Paharpur, Mahasthangarh. And actually, these places were the hub of knowledge generation. It is worth mentioning that the sultans and the Mughals had played a significant role in shaping the architectural landscape of our country. Now I'd like to focus on the international architecture wave in Dhaka between 1900 to 1960, like the Curzon Hall, PSC of Dhaka University by Doxidize, Architecture Department of BUET by Richard Hedwin, and Bangladesh Agriculture University by Paul Rudolph. So Bangladesh became independent after 9 months of liberation war. Though we achieved our long-awaited independence, we became economically one of the poorest countries in the world after liberation. So with the period of time, we have strengthened our foothold, not only economically, but also in other arenas. The architecture arena has become strong in Bangladesh in terms of quality, quantity, innovation, and uniqueness. While dreaming in living in nature, Dhaka started facing ecological crises, environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, and social inequity. Sorry, animation. Okay. And with the growth of the new city with huge population, we demand to apartment buildings increase mostly in Dhaka city because people are becoming quite centralized and Dhaka city becomes the hub of economy. So we developed a typology of putting green in every floor of multi-storied building. Singapore government took steps to plant 1 million more trees by 2030. And our Prime Minister said every citizen of Bangladesh has to plant at least 3 trees, and our population is 160 million. So we can imagine if multiplying, yeah, right, is 480 million trees supposed to be. So in every high-rise apartment building, we are having green to minimize the harshness of the city. And we make the ground floor open, partly parking, partly social space for the apartment owner, where they can gather together, space for greeneries and water collections from rain. And partly space for social gathering where possible, wherever possible. Restoring nature into the urban fabric. This is an old picture. The swimming pool is in the 5th floor. And now the trees become more taller and more dense. And we practice biophilic design. Our designed apartment buildings encourage biodiversity. This is the rooftop of an apartment building facing lake. Reduce the urban heat island effect using glass in a way with less greeneries. Provide shade and cooling. This is very important for tropical climate. And soften the harshness of the cityscape. And provide the residents space for breathing. Improve air quality. And space to celebrate. Reconnect people with nature. And share space between human and nature. Breathing cityscape. Every floor is a ground floor. That is our concept. Since Dhaka is heavily crowded with small pieces of land, multi-storied apartment building is an option. So design requires enough innovations where families are staying far above from the ground, is not deprived from the touch of the ground, which means they are having their essential belongings such as art, trees, grass, butterflies, birds, water, sky, everything together. So this inspired some of our design, having garden in every floor of a multi-story building with including shallow water bodies, large trees, along with proper ventilation. And apartment buildings, ground floor look like living room from outside and from inside. Can you hear the sound?
You need to share sound. We cannot hear the sound from the video.
More, isn't it?
At the top, you can find. Yeah, now.
So at present, the total number of apartment buildings with the spirit of green living is around 51 till now and ongoing in Dhaka city. Now I'll be showing one single house residence and which respond quite well with the climate and surrounding nature. It's a 3-story single extended family residence where we were interested to examine the traditional living environment in a contemporary urban context. If we see a Bangladeshi rural living typology, a courtyard with an adjacent pond is essential, where we juxtapose the courtyard and the pond is one as central courtyard in the middle of the house. In water court is recognized as a way, is organized in a way the subtropical Dhaka sun movement justifies summer and winter environment, along with the movement of the wind. The architecture of the house has become conceived as an envelope or shell in a scientific manner, which can dialogue with the whole mother nature and creates within and without the helpful environment for the people living inside and out. We're also interested to see how we connect the missing link between the traditional environment and the contemporary reasonable architecture, where the light connects with the courtyard, the water connects the world, the land parts the green, green touches by the wind, and the memory of the traditional boat is together, all together creates the environment, which is the language of Bangladeshi architecture. A dinghy boat by the ghat, under the tree, patch green, silence of light and water, unfolding the beauty of nature. And coexistence with nature, which makes balanced ecosystem and attract biodiversity. It responds with the light and shadow. makes the living more meaningful and poetic. Not only in public buildings, private buildings, we worked on public projects as well as struggle there to regain trust and respect. So we worked on all South City Corporation for 31 parks and playgrounds revitalizing. This photo shows one of those named Abdul Alim Playground in all part of Dhaka. During our research, we found most of the parks and playgrounds are illegally occupied as truck stand, hawkers, and drug abusers, and so on. These are also devastated due to lack of proper drainage system, So we also found the boundary grill, which implemented in order to protect the field, failed to protect the green space, rather invited. All the antisocial and unwanted activities also seen the wall acted as a symbol of distrust and disrespect within the community and destroyed the social and physical fabric of the community. Since 1965, it has looked like that. And we have made it like this. We can see the chronological changes here. We have gone through a sustainable design process where 66% of green area, whole water collection in a day from the field is around 45,000 gallons. In addition, 30% is as groundwater recharge. Public space is 32% of the total area and have community garden, orchard, mostly local fruit trees. Talking about a little more about the water system, rainwater has become collected under the walkway, filled with UV filter and distributed to the locals for drinking, watering the garden and greens on the playground. The capacity of the trench is 5 lakh liter of water, which can store all the sites water, even heavy rain. Here is the before and after completion. This is also the before and after. This is the cafeteria adjacent with the field. The playground is located in Old Town, where the population density is 50,000 per square kilometer. Can you imagine? So it has no option for monofunctional use. Kids play over there. People are chit-chat in their leisure time and do their prayer in special occasion, use many festivals like kite festivals. Yeah, now I'll be talking about one city park, which we can name as Anger Reduction Park. So the location of the park is quite significant. It is surrounded by Bangladesh Secretariat, National Mosque, and Bangabandhu Avenue, which is one of the busy road in Dhaka, and City Corporation building. But if you notice, all the boundary wall having punch, occupied by illegal shops and car parking. Our plan are to remove all the boundary walls, expand the lakes and green areas, and new functions and amenities, and redesign and improve the existing war memorial. Here, varying depth of water on site is designed as water garden, which acts as rainwater reservoir and groundwater recharger. The rainwater acts as a water preserver and charger for the city, as Dhaka is facing major groundwater shortage now. The park will become a breathing place for the city dwellers, where they can enjoy the ecological beauty of the land. Also, the park will be sustainable in the regard of energy saving, and solar park will produce energy for the street lights. Here you can see the drainage system under the entrance point of the park and details of aqua trench to collect and reuse the rainwater. Here is the master plan from the top view. And space inside the park is the Liberation War Monument Plaza. So another project, Bangabandhu Square, which is located northern part of Bangladesh. It is a cultural complex having exhibition galleries, libraries, restaurants, etc. Top view shows the overall connections, and now I'll show you the animation to show it inside. এখন আবার ওইটা দিতে হবে। Can you hear the sound? Northern part of Bangladesh. The library, we are calling it library. These are everywhere. Actually, the lifesaver. The cafeteria. I'll be showing a mosque of ours. Traditionally, we see Shan along with a prayer hall, which is the open space in front of the Mughal mosque, also followed in our design. And the location of the mosque is in between of the busy road on the south as terrestrial and the graveyard on the mosque as celestial. So the Shan, or the social space, became the spatial space and connecting the two worlds. So how the form generates? We have incorporated program in the site, create a central space and functioning, zoning and massing to create a social space, connection between massing and functions. And lastly, glass beads represent the pool sirat. The graveyard on the north reminds the community's people of the ultimate destination of all human beings. So some detailings of the pre-course. It comes up like this. This is the entry of the mosque. It becomes celebrating in the occasions like Jummah, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, like that. This is inside the mosque. And from the social space, the view is from the road. And prayer space for the female, having greenery, full of light and wind. This is the prayer space for the male. So at this stage, I want to introduce an ongoing project of ours. It is Aga Khan Academy. The school is inspired by the Buddhist Center of Excellence existing in our country for many thousand years. The school has been designed with a dream to create such physical environment which resonates Bangladeshi culture, where the students can have best educational experience. A lot of things have been taken into considerations while designing the projects and all the programs. The expanded city context, the climatology of Bangladesh, the sunpath diagram, the wind flow diagram, and positioning of different facilities, present and future urban density, use of local materials and construction technology, and many more detailing. We also address few goals of 17 sustainable goal by United Nations. Brick is the main construction material here to connect the history. These all have been taken into consideration and critically evaluated to make the school a didactic place for learning. Some of ongoing construction images are also here. This is also the construction image. And you see the trees are here planted, named Dhak tree. It has been said the name Dhaka came from this tree's name. So these all have been chosen so that the students can learn from the nature. Now I'll be showing our projects in Bhutan. Like we can say, like the song, Almost Heaven, Thimphu, Bhutan, Blue Pine Mountains, Thimphu River, Country Road, Take Me Home. So when we went for site visit, I took this photograph from the plane. We can see in distance the Everest range covered with snow. It is indeed beautiful. So it is, Bhutan is the most beautiful countries on earth and probably only carbon negative country amongst all. So Bhutan is a very religiously humble country enlightened by Buddhist philosophy. Interestingly, this Buddhism, they received this as a gift from Bangladesh. In 11th century, Atis Dipankar, the great Buddhist religious leader and master from Bangladesh, who traveled to Tibet and flourished Buddhism amongst the world, including Bhutan. So Bangladesh is the land of water and country of poetry. And interestingly, these water all coming from the Himalayas, which is a lifeline of Bhutan. So Bangladesh and Bhutan is a very connected naturally and historically. Bhutan is become the first country who recognized Bangladesh as the first sovereign country immediately after winning the war against Pakistan. So this is our site, and this is the Supreme Court of Bhutan, and residential area, the river, the diplomatic zone here, and the green Himalayas you can see here. So this is the view from our site. So this is our proposal for the Chancery complex, and top view of the complex showing the different functions like embassy block, multipurpose hall, staff quarter, ambassador's residence, sunken lawn, reflecting pool, and Himalayas. So we have also studied climate of Bhutan. We analyzed the climate of it and the sunpath diagram. So during our design development, we consider 5 issues that come out from our research. First and foremost is the relationship through water. Second is a relationship through cultural and religious cooperation. Third is political and diplomatic friendship. Fourth is the climate of Thimphu. And last but not the least is the surrounding context of our site. So we explored the slope of the site cascading towards the Thimphu River and Himalayas for movement of water and wonderful views. So it comes up like this. This is our father figure, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Even from the street, we did not interrupt much the Himalayan view by the pedestrian. Rather, we created a large social view window as a gesture of our respect for the nature. We also created a sunken green courtyard at the end of the reflecting water pool connected to the public hall and ambassador's house, simultaneously for holding different programs. So the green courtyard is surrounded by the Chancery Office, ambassador's residence, staff quarter, and a Bengali traditional terracotta wall. This is the courtyard where the sunlight plays in the winter and summer, where the afternoon light stretches its last light to twilight. Sound of water trickles, silence of green whispers, unfolding theatrical panorama for enlightening diplomatic gathering. Now I'll be showing our Bangladesh Chancery complex in Islamabad, Pakistan. So Pakistan has Indus Valley civilization and we have Mohstangar, Mainamuti. So the ground becomes the meeting point of two great civilizations. And the Chancery complex comes up like this, the archaeological touch on it, and the big solar roof, here you can see, holds plenty of water. And this space collects all the rainwater. Archaeology and water system coexist here. Main Chancery building of the complex looking towards the Margala Hill. Entrance of the High Commissioner's house. This is the Block A building and archaeological ambience. That's what we try to create. List of fruit and flower trees have been used in this project, and list of flowers used for the landscape to attract the birds and butterflies. So we are always sensitive about that. It is the corporate office building, ACYA in Malaysia. So the master plan started sketching, considering climate. The series of columns shows the pride and dignity of the company. Under the water body, it has 300 car parking. And you can see the parasol and the columns. Open lounge area on the 9th floor, having connections with the cosmos. This is the first platinum rated LEED certified building in Malaysia. So now I'll be showing one academic project of mine where I have redesigned a hospital having the same program and the same site area. By showing this, I'll be sharing with you by our design, how can we incorporate systems into a project and make it sustainable? So while zooming to the master plan, here is the site plan, which is adjacent with the forest. This is the existing and proposed typology where the programs and the site area is same. And I did exploded axonometry to understand the relationship between functions and with the environment. You can see the before and after condition of the green system. It achieves 130% of the site area. The main intention of staggering like this to provide maximum view of the forest and allowing more birds and butterflies from the forest to create a biodiversity park. For the public system, you can see how I have increased the public area in my hospital and made better connections with the surroundings. In energy systems, I have used the big solar canopy, which gives 33% self-sufficiency, which is measured by per bed, especially for the hospital design. You know, the calculations are done by per bed, not by per capita per person. So greening at roof level helps cooling. Exterior facing rooms allow cross ventilations. Therapy garden allows passive cooling. Translucent PV for daylight penetrations. I have achieved here 108% of self-sufficiency in water system because of 3 water ponds in my side, you can see here, and 3 more in the shared sponge park. Here is some quality of space around water and how we have collected, I have collected water and harvesting it, and again the clean water sent to the places where required. For food, there are rooftop farming over the main 3 wings of the building. And all these roadside are designed with community farming, and it achieves 53% of self-sufficiency in food. By calculating food production and consumptions, we can prepare this data. So here is some perspectives and sections. The quality of space inside and the functions. The quality of space around water. So yeah, for making it sustainable, I designed in a way where all the systems are integrated with each other, like the green with the blue, along with the food and the public space, which complements one another. So green, public space, food, energy, and water systems all together make it sustainable, which is gentle to the environment and restore ecology. Yes, it can restore ecology. So my last project, it is Jomuna Group Housings. So after learning all these in more meticulous and calculative way, I got involved designing a sustainable city, which will be the first zero energy city in Bangladesh. The master plan is just started. The requirement is 16,000 apartments. It will be the first self-sufficient city which will generate everything required for the existence of the residents without using external energy sources, like the amount of water, food, and energy will be consumed by the residents will be producing here. No need to rely on external sources. But here, first we have started thinking about the space for the birds and butterflies. We have started reviving the ecology. This is a project where given priority for community by rail, water transport. And creating biodiversity hotspots. We think this should be the future, not destroying natural sources on the Mother Earth. Rather to give it, oh, sorry. I think the future not destroying natural sources on the Mother Earth, rather to give it back where it belongs. Yeah, we have to give it back where it belongs and make the humans need cohabited with the nature. Because we are not only the living thing on earth. It's high time to show our sensitivity and responsibility. Protect our nature. How it comes up our first zero energy city in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Wow, Zannat. Hold on, I will turn on my camera. Wow,
Yeah.
Zannat, it was so amazing.
Oh, thank you, Desta.
Presentation and your project is actually amazing and it's really inspiring also. So, okay, thank you again. Well, now we are getting in the Q&A session, question and answer. So for everybody, if you would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand using the Zoom feature or just let me know from the chat box. I will call your name to ask the questions, and then please identify yourself, your name and country. You can directly ask to Zannat. This is very rare situation, yeah, very rare time. So you can also directly talk to Zannat. Otherwise, you can also just put your question on the chat. Then I will read the questions for you, and then Zannat can answer. And also for you who are attending the Zoom meeting, later we will put the Google form link for the e-certificate. So just please fill it out and we will send the e-certificate through your registered email based on this form. So not based on the first form when you registered in the Zoom meeting, but this form. So we will send you shortly. Okay, Zannat, I think there's some questions already in the chat box, and I think some of the friend from the Facebook also send me some message.
Okay.
Okay, for the first questioner, it's Dian Patarwala. You want to speak out your burning questions, or I will read it for you. You just can unmute yourself and then say to Zannat directly. Okay, maybe I will read, yeah. So the question for Jian, what's the biggest challenge in incorporating green space in multi-dwelling units? Who is responsible for the maintenance of the common space? Okay, Zannat.
Yeah, right. So, earlier this practice was not in Bangladesh, like layering the green, taking all the belongings of ours, like birds, butterflies, water, trees, along with us. So when we convince people, they actually love it, So when we love something, we try to protect it, we try to maintain it. So usually in Bangladesh, the culture is every apartment owner, they have to pay some amount for the maintenance of the building. So from that source, they use it for the maintenance, yeah.
Okay, so everybody is kind of like responsible to this environment.
Right. Yes, of course.
It's so amazing. It is only happen in Dhaka or the other countries in the Bangladesh as well.
I think, yeah, it's other parts of Bangladesh as well. Yeah, the big countries, the big cities, they do like that. Yeah, we call it like service charge.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
to maintain the greeneries, the water bodies. Yeah.
so amazing. Okay, we got another question from Nur Asikin Zakaria. It's about the Bhutan project or the project in the Bhutan. It's very amazing.
Oh, thanks. Bhutan is such a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the people of Bhutan react to the project when you first want to implement it here, implement it there? Do you take considerations of the local opinion on Bhutan project?
Absolutely. You know, Bhutan has the tradition of, it has a tradition like they have to maintain 65% to 70% their traditional design. So you just cannot do modern architecture over there. But exceptional is the embassy building, you know, because embassy building is the owner is both two countries, because the land is belongs to Bhutan, but the project is belongs to Bangladesh. So exceptionally in the High Commissioner or the Chancery Complex, we can make the difference, but we didn't do this in Bhutan. We respected their tradition, we respected their culture, and earlier we started doing it like 55% of their following traditional design. But when we showed our design to the authority, they liked it so much. So they requested us to make it like completely with their tradition. Then we thought like, why not? Like while we're respecting it, why not do it like full of our heart? So here we have that 65% of traditional architecture design of Bhutan, what we implemented in our design. Yeah. And one information as Bhutan is the happiest country on earth, and only Bhutan is a country, they have the Ministry of Happiness. Can you imagine the Ministry of Happiness they have?
So amazing.
So sweet of them.
Do you think?
Yeah, it
one
does.
of the reason why they are one of the happiest country in the world is because maybe they still have that kind of very beautiful scenery, or do you have any?
Of course. Yeah. You know, over there you can only build like 30% of your site area. 70% you have given for the greeneries.
Oh
and yeah, and our friends over there, they told me that, yeah, you know, people come to Bhutan for its surrounding nature. For the touch of nature. They don't come here to see the glass house, the modern architecture. So why we will destroy our nature for the people, those who are not like that sensitive to us? So they strictly maintain it. Their king is very, he's a very famous and good king. They love their king so much. Yeah.
Wow, it's so amazing, Zannat. Okay, I got some question from the Facebook. Oh no, we got another question, just a new one in the chat box.
Okay.
It's from Sujana Jesse Akhtar. Okay, in Bangladesh, people mostly want space for business, like more room, more money, something like that. Oh, so my question is how you convince them to doing something like to create open space or spiritual breathing space. Is that difficult to convince them? This is very interesting.
You know, it was quite difficult earlier, like you know, after the liberation, what I told, what I shared in my presentation, we became one of the poorest countries because the economy falls and economic collapsed, and people didn't know like what to do. That time we had a very rough and difficult development. But nowadays, of course, difficult for some clients, but most of the clients who comes to us, they have already known about us. We know that we do the green architecture, the green buildings. Now clients come to us who wants to do the green architecture. So they told me that, or told our company that we just came here because we want a green building, we want a sustainable design. We love birds, we love butterflies, we want greeneries like covered to our apartment or public project, whatever. So, and some of the clients who are not that much aware enough about green issues, we of course we give time to them, because it's not it's everyone's responsibility. Like if I know something to share with you, and I can also learn something from you. So what I know, because every person has like different background, and they have much excuses maybe to don't know. So we always try to convince them. We always show them our projects and tell them how they can be beneficial if they use a sustainable green building. Yeah, we try to make them convinced. It's sometimes a difficult job and sometimes not, but we always do this. Yeah.
It's amazing, Zannat. It's amazing to convince people.
Yeah, of course. This is a challenge,
Yeah. And I think there's a question from the another friends outside the Zoom, which is still related. So the question is about, you said earlier that actually green building and sustainability is not only about the green. Like you mentioned about water, you mentioned about the public space and other things. Is it? So maybe a lot of people now still acknowledge the green buildings means like buildings with the green one, with a lot of plants and something like that. Like, yeah, maybe most of the young architects will also, because mostly what we see in the internet, Instagram or other things like, okay, this is green building because they put a lot of greenery. Yeah. Do you think that this is really true? Maybe you can give a bit detail about these other systems rather than a green only. Yeah.
Right. Of course, I have to admit that when we were a child, we also knew the same. Like we knew, we see a building like wrapped up with greeneries. We say, okay, it's a green building. It's a green architecture, something like that. But while doing our specialization in sustainable design, we got to know that if I tell you like very simply, okay, like you have 10 square feet site, or if I say in Bengali like it's a 5 kata of land you have. So we just don't live with only the trees. We have other aspects as well for our living. Like we need the light, fan, we need water, we need some space for breathing, like public space, and we need food for ours. So in terms of green, what we call in more professional way, it is the thing, what we need, we have to produce it by our own. We cannot destroy our nature for that. Like that 5 kata of site, if it's covered by green, and you design that way, the building, you have 5 kata of green of your area, of your design, of your building. Then you can say you have achieved 100% self-sufficiency in green. And in case of water, we just can't live without water, right? We need the water connections and many uses of that. For that, if we are blessed with rain, like God given us the rain. If we do the rainwater harvesting and the used water, if we do it filtered and can reuse it, so we are not wasting that water as well. Like the same about energy. We need light, fan, electric, AC, air condition, everything. We have to achieve it by our own. We can simply use solar panels and more greeneries to reduce the heat. So this is the way we can produce our own solar, our own electricity or energy, not to relying the others. Like the way food. If we can produce the amount of food we need, we consume. So the consumption and production, when it becomes equal, so you are self-sustained. So this is the way, you know, all these issues comes up when you want to do sustainable design. Because otherwise, how long we'll be torturing to our nature? How long we'll be taking, destroying the biodiversity, the ecology? Like, we just cannot do it anymore. We have done a lot of mistakes already to the whole globally.
It's amazing. So basically, green building and what we call as sustainability is not about we put the plants on the building, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is not about only like that.
And it's very interesting that you mentioned about self-sustainability, right?
Yeah, right.
Very amazing.
That, yes.
Zannat, we got another question. Not another, actually. We got several questions. I will read one of the.
Yeah.
It's from Pia Suratman. Oh, I know her. So, was there an attempt to engage with the local community directly for the Bhutan project? Oh, this is for the Bhutan project, okay? And not only through authorities or government officials. In a lot of cases, government have their own agenda, which might not suit the actual needs and wants of the local people. So,
right.
An attempt to engage with the local community.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had to visit many a times before starting the project, just to understand their nature, their culture, and their traditions. And we have they are very famous architect over there. Her name is oh my God, I just forgot her name. She is the first lady architect from Bhutan, and Rabaya or Rokia, something like that. We actually engaged with her a lot, and we had the local engineering thing over there. We that time we actually did a lot of analysis for to understand their construction technique, their local traditional design. You can see they have very interesting design of their traditional architecture, and we had to analyze a lot about that. And first, actually, you know, the interesting part is we started designing with clay.
Clay, is it?
Yeah, and with mud architecture. But our problem was that time, like, nowadays it happens in Bangladesh as well. We don't have much worker who can make these things, like the scarcity of the unavailability of the workers nowadays. So we had to give up that mud construction and make it concrete, and for the more sustainability as well. And yeah, so that Rokeapa and our engineering team over there was continuously with us, discussing all the issues and other surrounding aspects. Because when we are working internationally, there is also, you know, many layers of working. Yeah, so we are deeply involved with them. Yeah, with the local people.
Yeah. But this is, I think this issue is very interesting. Maybe it will not only happen in Bhutan, right? I think maybe in some countries, like sustainability movement is actually cannot be only like a top down, or sometimes it should be supported by the bottom up movements or initiatives. But the other time, maybe some of the countries actually maybe they really rely on the top down sustainability movement. So do you think like most of your projects is actually engage more people, like the community, rather than the top-down movements.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the public process I have shown the parks and playgrounds before designing, we had to discuss many a times with the local people. You know, that was not mandatory for us to discuss the local people. Usually consultants, they don't do that. But we did that many a times. You know, we went the early morning or night or whatever the time is, we never, we never like, uninvolved, like wherever required, we went over there, convinced them, and after designing, we made them understand that how it's going to look like. We have given them our presentation that this is how it will look like, and they have also given us some opinions of theirs, like how they want to see their parks, how they want to see their playgrounds. You know, we always appreciate and try to take people's opinion, like local people's opinion, because they are the end users. So they know better than any of the client or whatever. Like they exactly don't know. They exactly know what they want. So we always value their opinion and their what they want, and if any suggestions, we always try to take it and implement it. Yeah. So we, in any of our projects, we got very involved with the end users, with the local people, with the local communities. Yeah.
Okay, it's very interesting. Zannat, there's another question. It's about the project itself. Yeah, do you benchmark your projects, each of your projects, which you actually implement the sustainability concept with the green building tools in order to see the holistic greenery of the buildings?
Okay, not exactly every project with the green buildings tools, but you know, these green buildings tools and things, these are not like very old things. These are like 10, 15 years, this becomes popular. But before that, we actually practiced the whole sustainability things. And in our new projects, especially in all new public projects of ours, we try to give all the sustainability tools sort of things. And as I have also done my specialization on that, so I used to do it nowadays. Like I used to calculate the things. Yeah. And you know, it makes the things quite easier, because for the young architects, say, like everyone is not like, you know, very good designer or very good like since I can say, yeah, it doesn't need to be very good architect to like sensitive to the nature. Because if you follow the sustainability tools things, okay, your building, if you try to make it sustainable, it will actually not harm to the environment. Yeah. It will actually provide the energy things, the greeneries, water, public space, and food. Like if you not even make it a beautiful building, like good architecture, that is also okay. Like you can always working as a catalyst, as a system thinker. You can always working as a catalyst. You can be a civil engineer, you can be a landscape architecture, to know the sustainability things, you know, and to working with the architects to make it really better.
Yeah. So amazing, Zannat. So actually, Zannat, this is very interesting question also I got here. So you are a young architect. You are still very young architect. So when you graduated from the architectural school, right? Then as we know, maybe in the architectural school, they mention it about the sustainability design and other things, but somehow it will not really deep, right? Then then when you started to realize that actually as an architect in practice, then you start to think that, oh, actually my project and what I'm doing, what I'm designing is we should we should involve and we should do the sustainability things?
Right, yeah, unfortunately, this is quite true because when I did my my undergrad, that time I was not that well known about the sustainability things, and but my you can say it advantage, maybe working with a very good farm, like our farm's name is indeed Architecture for Green Living. So their motto is always like working with the green things, the sustainable design. So yeah, I'm very fortunate enough that my starting practice is involved with these things. And after while in undergrad, it might be every school they teach us differently, but I think this is the high time they should include the sustainability thing in their curriculum. Because yeah, when I was also graduated, I did my undergraduation, I also had no clue about the sustainability things.
Okay. So once you practice, then you realize that actually you should include the sustainability
Right.
project, is it?
Yeah. And I also did, I traveled a lot and watched good architecture around the world. So that also opened up my eyes. It's very important for architects for traveling and learning from traveling.
Exactly. But fortunately, now it's a pandemic things.
Oh yeah, I think definitely it will be resolved.
Yeah, we hope it's getting better because the vaccinations are already quite a lot efforts. All the governments did the vaccinations and
yeah, that will be the lifesaver when everyone will get vaccinated. Most of we are.
There's a important questions as well. This is about the pandemic things.
Of course.
So, as a young architect, Zannat, how do you see the progressions of a post-pandemic of sustainable design and sustainable development for the future of architecture to be more resilient and adaptable in the future?
Yeah, right.
Resilient, sorry.
Yeah. This is, I think this pandemic has changed all of our lives. And I think there will be no like post-pandemic sort of thing. It will be like the new normal things. And we have actually very much opportunity to make things better because now people's realizations after the pandemic has changed completely. We have seen that nature has taken over the things, like they have we can see on the busy roads the monkeys came out, the other animals came out, and we got locked inside our home. So now is the time that it's both started dialoguing, like it actually never happened in our lifetime as well. We have never seen like we always wanted to make the better environment which we couldn't able to make. But after pandemic, we have seen that the air quality improved and the other the carbon emissions, it becomes reduces, and actually the environment becomes better. So I think this is the high time we architects or landscape designers or system thinkers, we can convince the clients in a very positive way to make things better, because their realization is also have been changed. They have also realized that only, in terms of development, you just cannot make that concrete jungle. You have to be sensitive enough for the environment. Yes. It's a great time for us, and it's a great opportunity for us. We have to make it this time.
Exactly. It's very amazing. So Zannat, as a young architect, maybe there are some of our participants are still as students and yeah, they're very young architects, just started their practice and other things. So maybe there is no any, like where should we start it to get ourselves involved in the sustainability movements?
Yeah, right. I think for the very young architects who just maybe graduated, their mind is like completely fresh, like it's not corrupted by the clients or whatever it is. But thing is, I can tell them one important thing, like being sensitive to the nature, and don't forget that we are not the only living thing in our environment, in our mother nature. We are just one of the only one of the living thing. But as God has given us brain, we have to utilize it, and we have to be sensitive enough and responsible for the other living thing and for the nature. So if we think that we have to merge, it's time to cohabitate, coexist with the nature, not destroying it. And I'm the boss, not in that mood, like being sensitive to the nature. So I think that that's the very important thing. And we also have to, think about our clients, the end users, the real estate peoples. But if our motive is like to protect the nature, to restore the ecology, and to give back our biodiversity, we have to convince people, we have to make them understand and work accordingly.
So, Zannat, with this situation, right, nowadays situation with the COVID, with the other things, but maybe the movement of the sustainability, especially in the architectural field, it's started, and maybe a lot of people will get, more people will get involved on this. So, can you see something, or what is the thing that you can see in the future, maybe 2050, 2100? Are you sure that in that time, maybe our world become better? Or with this situation, you think that, oh, maybe we need to do more with this sustainability things to get a better environment in the future, something like that?
Yeah, of course. I think we need to make people more, more informed about sustainability. And I think the movement is already started. Like the Paris Agreement is there, and how Singapore started their 30 by 30. Like they will achieve 30% of self-sufficiency by 2030. And as I call that, the country like Bangladesh. Our Prime Minister also said that to plant every citizens at least 3 trees. Everywhere around the world, like in US, like that Donald Trump, he like refuses that Paris Agreement, and Joe Biden again, he renewed it. So changes are happening all around the world. I think it started already, and we architects have to play the, I think, main role over there, because an architect is not only like will be conscious about climate or environment or the technological things or the construction things. Like it's not like that. When we design something, when we build something, it has the whole universe in our mind. So we have to consider everything. So I think this movement already started. We have to keep it like pushing it a little bit more.
It's so amazing, Zannat. And I think today you also like taking a really good way like to support the sustainability things, because you become the speakers here in the webinar.
I'm very honored. I'm very honored and humbled.
Thank you so much. Like we hope also we can encourage more young architects and young professionals to be more involved in this movement, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Zannat, there's interesting things in the chat box from Jenny. No question for Zannat, but Zannat, by her presentation, is like inviting us to Bangladesh again and again. Wow, that's very, very amazing. Her work,
Absolutely.
Zannat,
Thank you, Danny. You're very much welcome in Bangladesh.
yeah, the last time Arcasia meeting is in Bangladesh, is it? Ah, Danny is there. Danny, you want to say something? I just speak out.
Hey. Good to see you, Danny.
No, just want to say congratulations to Zannat.
Oh,
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Interesting presentation. I love your husband's work. Very awesome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
it's always amazing. Zannat is always amazing.
Yeah. I also used to follow his work. Yeah, he's a very young professional, doing great.
Zannat, I really admire Bangladesh architect because I just back from Dhaka and I saw some Marina Tabassum work and it's awesome. I thought that Bangladeshi have a good taste of architecture. So I thought by the sense you and your husband doing very wonderful works in architecture. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you. That's Dennis Tiawan from Indonesia. He's also very famous in Indonesia, Zannat.
No way.
Okay. I think almost all the questions in the chat box is already answered, and yeah, it's very amazing, Zannat. I think our discussion today, like you present a lot of projects and how you show us how you implement the concept of the sustainability in your projects, both in the building scale and the urban scale. Is it the last one? It's very interesting. It's a very big, large project. Is it? What's the name?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. Yeah, it does. It's a big challenge for us. And yeah, from the beginning of this project, we are the only thing in our mind will be the first net zero city.
Wow, we're so looking forward.
Yes.
I think after the project is done, you need to tell Professor Womansam.
Yes, of course. Professor Womansam, Professor Nirmal, Professor Sinal, yeah, they are my mentor.
It's so amazing. Okay, Zannat, we have a limited time also in the Zoom meetings, but today is very, amazing. It's very inspiring. You give us a lot of insight. So actually, before I close the webinar, maybe you have some, message to the young architect or young professionals, like to be more involved in the sustainable movement.
Yeah, like I would say, love yourself, because self-love is very important, and being sensitive to the environment, because either way our might be it's a small work, but its impact is huge, like if someone paints, there's a painting and a photograph, there is not that kind of use, but in terms of architecture, like building or something, if we make it wrong, maybe 100 years people will be suffering. And if we make it rightly, correctly, sustainably, people will be getting benefited every day. So we have to keep in mind that the impact of our work, the impact of our drawing, So yeah, only being sensitive to others and respectful.
Yeah. Thank you. So amazing, Zannat. Okay, I think we got the very good time today. I just want to remind everybody that I already shared the link for the e-certificate. So you can just simply copy the links on the chat box to your browser, and then please fill out all the forms so that maybe next week, our team will send you the e-certificates based the data on the Google form that you fill it now. So just a bit reminds, actually, for next week, we will have our second speaker, the architect Desta from Singapore. She will talk about the tools and topics in sustainable urbanism. And then actually, right, as I checked today, the capacity is almost full. It's almost full. So be sure that you already registered as well. Yeah, thank you, Zannat. Again, thank you for attending this webinar. Thank you for sharing a lot of things today. So amazing, so inspiring. Thank you also for all the participants today who's attending this webinar, both in the Zoom and on the Facebook. Actually, we got a lot of participants as well in the Facebook channel. It's very interesting. And we will have this kind of webinar every Saturday. So this is the first day as a part of the series with the various different topics, which still engage to the sustainability in young architecture perspective. And we will also generally remind again that this event is actually supported by ACYA, Arcasia Committee of Young Architects, and then Indonesia Institute of Architects, Special Region of Yogyakarta, Ikatan Architects Indonesia, Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, and also Yogyakarta Young Architect Forum. And also this webinar is powered by Extalia Hobbies. Zannat, again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Desta. Thank you, ACYA, Extalia Hobbies, Ridha, and thanks to all for listening us. Yes,
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, thank you.
All right.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well done.
Thank you, Zannat.
So much, Ridha. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. It's nice. Wait. All right.
Oh, Ridha is back.
Yeah, very beautiful presentation, Zannat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. See you then.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Zannat. Stay safe.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, can cut the Facebook.
Wait, stop live stream.
Okay, Desta, I need to talk to you later, but
I think with the another forum lah.
Yep, okay. All right.